remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
Don't you know about Baloo?
Baloo? What is Baloo?
Baloo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baloo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baloo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baloo, better than sending money.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. This have been said. You know the Ahmed Abdoulie Fatty saga recently. What happened? We were told that the police, maybe two truckloads of the paramilitary personnel, went to Sutukum last week to arrest Ahmad, who was completely unarmed, innocent, and peaceful. So when they got to Sutukum, people were scared, definitely, if not terrified, to see that kind of thing, which they believe that even a message to the Alikalo of that village asking Ahmad to answer to the police station in Masakonko, he would have no objection at all to do so in peace. But it has taken this way. We were, as a peaceful organization, disappointed. Because if you could remember, there was a similar case here affecting our venerable member called Sharif Muhammad Nano Haidara, who is the vice president of the Gambia, of this the Rawdatul Mjaalis, and also is the caliph of the sheriffs in Burfoot. A young boy from above a rostrum called this venerable imam by a name which is most unwarranted and irrelevant, insulting him directly. abusing him directly. There was nothing which happened to the abuser. When the matter was reported to the police, the boy was summoned to the police station and asked him whether it was true that he insulted this venerable gentleman. He said yes, and I have no regret about that. And up to today, nothing has happened about his case. Now, if you compare the case of Sharif Muhammad Nano Haidara, which happened about 3-4 months ago, to what we are talking about today regarding an alleged insult directed to Imam Fatty, you'll find a kind of, a selective justice, if I may call it. Because these are both Gambians, and they have similar cases. They have similar cases, but why this one was treated in this manner and the other one in a manner completely different, diametrically different, when insults and abuses have been involved in both cases. That is what we are here to show the world, that that kind of justice is unwarranted and is unwanted. It's most regrettable that a truck or 2 truckloads of the paramilitary and the security would go to Sotukun to arrest just one person, as I said, unarmed, innocent, and peaceful, because Imam Fatty reported that he had called him by the telephone and insulted him several times. But when the man was asked at the police station, why did you insult him? He said, no, I did this just to retaliate against him. He has been insulting our elders, our respectable religious leaders for years, not just 2 years, but for more than a decade. Fatty has been insulting our elders. So the only thing really I found to be a kind of reciprocal, treatment is to insult him too by the telephone. And I have no regret about that too. So they moved the case from Mansakonko. They moved the case from Mansakonko to Kairaba police station. So there, they met the boy. But because of the situation the boy and the people of Sotukun found themselves in, so they advised the boy to go and apologize for what has happened, for insulting, for allegedly insulting Imam Fatty. So that was a kind of agreement which was quite disappointing to us as a peaceful organization that is Rawdatul Mjaalis. We tried to intervene to see that the boy should not apologize, but then the elders, the parents of the boy, including his grandpa, said, no, you should go and apologize to Mr. Fatty for what has happened. So we try to dissuade the boy from that. Because if you know the history of this gentleman, that's Fatty, over the 2 decades, insulting people, braggingly, that nothing can come out of what he has been doing under the previous regime, the regime of former President Yahya Jammeh. So we all know that. Fatty has insulted the whole Gambians. How? At the funeral of the mother of Yahya Jammeh, which Fatty attended, he said Gambians were not grateful. Gambians, in fact, were cowards because, according to him, rodents in Ghana has killed more people than Yahya Jammeh has killed in the Gambia here. Yet, Rawlins is walking free, scot-free in Ghana. Nothing is happening to him. Why shouldn't they allow Yahya Jammeh to come back in the Gambia here and live in peace? So that is an insult for the whole Gambians, not just for one person. So if you compare that to this gentleman who is allegedly insulted Imam Fatty, and then you find that, as I said, 2 truckloads of paramilitary force went to arrest him, whereas this another gentleman, I wouldn't call him a gentleman, in fact, maybe he's a criminal, because a young man under 30 years of old would dare insult a man who could have him a child. He could have had him a child in about a few months ago. And the case is still pending at the police station. Nothing has happened up to this point. So that's why I call it a selective justice. Yes, so Rawdatul Mjaalis, as I said, has relentlessly made everything humanly possible to ensure that peace, security, stability is maintained in this country. This country has been known for its peaceful way of life. The Gambian people have been known for being good Muslims. We are not in need of what they call, people like Fatty and others, that they want to establish its sunnah in this country, whereas Islam has arrived in the Gambia over 1,000 years ago. Well, over 1,000 years ago, since Islam arrived in our sub-region, the sub-region of Senegambia. So how come some people who in fact were taught of being foreigners do whatever they like, insult our people, and claim that they were really working for Sunnah to take root in this country? I really I reacted to that recently, saying that how come people who have come to the Gambia in order to seek knowledge, they were educated here in the Gambia for decades, and they proceeded on. They proceeded on to Saudi Arabia for further education. When they come back with that kind of, vicious ideology, which really underestimate anything that our forefathers have done in this country. They brainwash them by telling them, your people down there, they are grave worshippers, tomb worshippers, and that they are idolatries. That means idol worshippers. They are not Muslims. So when you go, try to convert them to true Islam, and also to teach them what the Sunnah is. That is also ridiculous. We don't need that kind of people. So they are causing havoc in this country. And I believe our government, and we appeal to them from here and through you too, that the government should wake up and do something in order to maintain peace and security in this country. Most of these people who are doing this are not indigenous Gambians. They have come here and they have been given a high degree of respect and veneration, then they turn around to describe the Gambians by all kinds of names. So this is what is happening today. And Ahmed Sillah, right now, perhaps he is at the police station, perhaps in Banjul. Why? For him to shake hands with Abdoulie Fatty and apologize to him about his insults that directed to Abdoulie Fatty in the past. So that is why this organization, Rawdatul Mjaalis, dissociated itself completely from anything that would lead to the disparagement of the Gambian people and also Islam. That's something we do not second, and we will never second that kind of, behavior. So here is my brother also, which will like to add something to what has already been mentioned to you about the current situation. The current situation is serious, and we want the government to take action now and not later to ensure that the insults and abuses have come to an end in this country, because we are not used to that in the past. Our forefathers may have some kind of religious difference of opinion, yes, in the past, because I can really bear to that. But they have never confronted each other by insult and abuses. No, they live in peace and respect for each other. This is what we have been brought up in. So if things have changed in this manner, unfortunately, it is only the authorities, the competent authorities, who can change the course of the things. Unfortunately, we have written several times, even about the 77 Council, that's Gambia 77 Council. I just want to make very briefly a statement about that. When the term of office of the office holders today has come to an end, over 1 year now, we ask them to either hold an election or step down and tell people what are the problems hindering them from holding an election. There was no response to that. We have written to the government as well, the Ministry of Religious Affairs, the advisor, the religious advisor to the president himself, about this problem, that either because they were put in this office, in that office by an election, and it also, as everybody knows, can only go for 5 years. And when 5 years, their first 5 years came to an end, we have been giving them another mandate of 5 years. That mandate of 5 years also expired since 2018. But up till now, they are hanging on power. We don't know. And the government, up till now, apparently, is reluctant to take the right course for these people to do what is required of them. So this is another problem. Sharif Muhammad Nano Haidara was the one appointed by the elders, the religious elders, the religious leaders of this country in October 12, 2019 as the president of the Gambia 77 Council. That was the very manner in which the first president of the Gambia 77 Council was appointed, Alhaji Soriba Gassama, in 1992. So if the same thing is repeated, having, since those people have failed to really honor their commitment that they should step down and give way to some others to take over, they failed to do that, and that they failed to hold an election. So the elders of the Gambia decided at that meeting, which was called by Rawdatul Mjaalis, for prayers for the country, for the people, for the youths, men and women. During that time, then the elders decided to appoint Al-Hajj Sharif Muhammadu Sanusi Nano Haidara, but up to this point, he has been unable to occupy his rightful place at the office of the Gambia Civil Service Council, and we are still pursuing the matter with the government. Hopefully one day, sooner rather than later, this will come to pass, inshallah. Thank you very much indeed. An international civil servant who worked for the IDB, the Islamic Development Bank in Saudi Arabia for nearly 20 years. He is retired, but as you can see, he is not tired. So he is a brain that can be reckoned with. Inshallah, please, Mr. Yafa, you have the floor.
Alaji Baba Abubakar Darame for this brilliant introduction about the purpose of this press conference. Now, without further ado, I will not add anything substantial to what the chairperson or the president of Rawdatul Mjaalis has already said as an introductory statement to this press conference or press briefing. So what I'll just do now is to open the floor to the press for them to put questions to the president of Rawdatul Mjaalis or to myself. And during that, the answers, that we are going to give or to your questions, we will be able to dilate more, on certain issues that perhaps might have been left behind by the president of Rawda. Thank you. So the floor is yours. Yes.
Well, I would have directed my question to him, but unfortunately, he's away. Okay, it's the same. Fine. So he made mention of this boy who made this insult. That is Ahmed Sillah, who was arrested by the police. And then when he was arrested, it's like he cannot confirm that he made the insult, because it's like he's on a revenge. He confirmed to the police. It's like he's on a revenge because someone also had insulted Sirif Nano Haidara. And the Majlis were not happy with it. In fact, you discourage him of going to apologize to Imam Fatty. Well, with the current situation in the country, do you think Islam needs this kind of things? Why did the Rawdatul Mjaalis don't maintain that peace and allow him to go and apologize and also advise him not to do so again?
Thank you for your question. First of all, before answering it, I would like to refer you to an article I wrote a few days ago, which I sent to the Standard newspaper for publication. I sent it on Sunday, and probably it may appear today, or probably even it might have appeared yesterday, I'm not sure. But at least refer to the Standard newspaper in order to get some elements of answer to your question. But what I would like to add to that is that it's true what you are saying. The gentleman did so in retaliation to a series of insults and profanities uttered by Abdoulie Fatty and his camp, his advocates. This has been going on, as the president has said, for over 10 years now, since the days of Yahya Jammeh. So we thought that with the advent of this new government, it would be a good opportunity for the powers that be to intervene and put an end to this insanity, especially in the name of Islam. Why should you insult our spiritual and religious leaders? You are young people, but you are aware of prominent, eminent names as far as religion, Islam is concerned in our Senegambia sub-region. You've heard about eminent scholars like Serigne Bamba, Alhaji Malik Sy, Kang Khalifa of Jara, of the Gambia, Bal Fodeu, of the same place, Sheikh Ibrahim Niass and others. These are the people who, over the years and let's say over centuries, through their efforts, had entrenched and consolidated Islam here as we see it today. Now, if young people, somebody like me can even father, would take the liberty to come and insult those elders in our presence, this is something that is unacceptable. So we have to react. And we have been calling or drawing the government's attention to this fact, but they have not taken heed. Now, if a young chap, this gentleman, we refer to him as a young, but he's sort of, let's say, I can say he's a lad. He's a young boy in his early 20s who reacted in this manner. It's because Abdoulie Fatty and his cohorts have been doing the same thing. So it's a retaliation. We are not saying that what the boy did is a good thing in general. No, never. We will never do that. But for us, this should be a golden opportunity for the government to step in. For any responsible person in the Gambia here to also step in to say enough is enough. That's it. So this is the purpose. In fact, this is why we convened this press conference, for the whole Gambia to know what obtains as far as religious disharmony is concerned in this country. And by the way, let me tell you one thing. These people will always claim that they have come to institute, not even to revive, but to institute the sunnah of the Prophet, as if our elders knew nothing about the sunnah. They never applied the sunnah. They never observed the sunnah. That's an insult. Which sunnah are they talking about? You see, the issue is if you listen to them, you have the impression, can you tell him to reduce it? If you listen to them, you have the impression that what they are condemning is confined to the Gambia and only the Gambia, which is not true. The entire Muslim world, from China to the Americas, everywhere in the Muslim world, the type of Islam we practice here, I call it mainstream Islam, traditional Islam, based on what is referred to in Muslim religious circles, the four madhabs. You might have heard about them. The Maliki madhab, the Hanafi madhab, the Shafi'i madhab, and the Hanbali madhab within Sunni Islam. These are the madhabs that are predominant all over the Muslim world, from China to Morocco, to Mauritania, including the Gambia and other West African countries, blended with Sufism. You might not know what Sufism entails. I cannot use this platform in order to explain it. But this is an opportunity for me also to announce to the entire Gambian populace that we are going to initiate lessons on the radio, over the radio, for people to know exactly what Sufism is about, that it is the quintessence of Islam. If you want to see and apply real Islam, you have to adhere to Sufism. So these are things that we will explain later. But on
suspect any foul play between you people and, of course, the other group, I don't know how to call it, do you suspect any foul play there on the government side?
Well, I would not pinpoint the government per se and say that there is foul play. But what I suspect is that there are some elements, perhaps close to President Adama Barrow, who take it upon themselves to handle these things as they wish. For example, in this particular case concerning Ahmed Sillah and Abdoulie Fatty, we are being told, and it's confirmed, that two so-called protocol officers were the ones who went to Jara Sutukung in order to face the family of the boy and then urge them to ask the boy to apologize to Abdoulie Fatty. So we want to believe that, unknowing to the president, they might have ordered for the dispatch of those 2 truckloads of paramilitary officers referred to or mentioned by our president to go there and have the boy arrested and taken to the Massa Congo police station. So I'm afraid that evil practices that were perpetrated during the Yaya Jammeh regime are being replicated, are being recycled in the country, which is quite unfortunate. Thank you.
Don't you think the government of the Gambia is acting rather too late in bringing about religious sanity in this country? Having read series of articles on the on newspapers and on online media about the term of mandate for the past Supreme Islamic Council, they should hold Congress long time, and they are still going ahead. So don't you think the government of the Gambia is rather too late in bringing about religious sanity in this country? Right now, the religious camp in this country is divided into 2 camps. You have the Rawdatul Mjaalis and the Supreme Islamic camp. Yeah, what's your take on that?
Yeah, thank you very much again for that question. I always refer you again to the article, as I said, I have written. Please, the article, I'm quite sure, will be published probably today or tomorrow by the Standard newspaper. In that article, I made it abundantly clear to the government, and what I said in conclusion to the article is, the Gambia government should therefore see the Salafists, Wahhabis, and if I say Salafist Wahhabis, I'm referring to those who call themselves Sunnah Mul. You always hear them saying that. Ndelemu Sunnah Multi. Nka Sunnah leftale Sunnah le sabati jang. But internationally, in English, they are referred to either as Salafist or Wahhabis. You know, that the Gambia government should therefore see these Salafist Wahhabis as a threat to national security and social harmony. It is even being claimed in some informed quarters that their adherents receive training in martial arts in secret locations in the Gambia. Gambia government, please wake up and take heed before it is too late. And I wrote even previous articles about this matter. You are right. Unfortunately, the government has not been doing anything. Nothing absolutely, which definitely is unfortunate. And scary. Scary for the simple reason that you don't need to tell people. For you, the press, you are fully aware. This horrible phenomenon we have been witnessing, which is called extremism, Islamic or so-called whatever, violent extremism and radicalism in the name of Islam, perpetrated by organizations like Al-Qaeda, ACMI, what they call Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, Arab, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, and so on, Mali. That movement, together with Boko Haram, ISIS in Syria and Iraq. I have nothing to tell you, nothing new to tell you about those terrible institutions or organizations, I'm sorry. Al-Shabaab in Somalia, the mayhem that they perpetrate against innocent people in the name of Islam. This type of so-called Islam have never been witnessed here in anywhere in the world, in fact, in the entire Muslim world. It is only when this Salafism, Wahhabism movement reared its ugly head from Saudi Arabia to other parts of the world because of oil money, because they made it a point of duty to propagate it. In fact, according to statistics, this is about around 2015 or 2014, official statistics stated that the Saudi government had spent up to that time over 100 billion US dollars. Take note, 100 billion US dollars on the propagation of their brand of Islam, which is Salafism and Wahhabism. What do they have to teach us? Nothing, absolutely. And this type of Islam is the Islam that is so intolerant. They don't allow the other person. They claim that Islam is monolithic. There should be no divergence of views. The way they see it is the way all other Muslims should also see Islam, the precept of Islam, their own way of seeing the Sharia. And it is that type of Sharia that should be applied forcibly on all Muslims. This is the danger they pose. This is the threat they pose to the whole of humanity. And once if they say that if they see that for you, you don't accept it, and they have the means to fight you, then they start engaging in terrorist acts or try to topple your government and seize power. So we have to be very careful. In fact, governments like Senegal and all other governments in the sub-region, and for that matter, all governments of the entire world have awakened to this reality. Their intelligence apparatuses, intelligence services monitor the movement of such people. Radical Islam is something we don't need here. So government, Adama Barrow's government has to be careful. They have to monitor these people. They are coaching their young people. These madrasas you see here, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, especially the Talending Institute, this Talending Islamic Institute, is the citadel of, call it the nursery, the breeding ground for Salafism, for this radical Islam. They teach them, they shape them there. All the ustaz is there. I can say 99% of them receive training and education in Saudi Arabia. So they come and replicate these things here. And if I say Saudi Arabia, it's not against the government. It's not against the political authority in Saudi Arabia. That's not the issue. The problem is the religious establishment in that country. They are the problem. They say all other Muslims are kafirs. They are mushriks. For them, they say all other Muslims associate God with people, other things. So they are mushrik. And that is the most heinous crime in Islam. God says he does not forgive a shirk if you associate God, his character, as a deity, if you associate him with other, if you worship anything else in the place of God, is a sin that God does not forgive. This is what they are accusing all other Muslims of. It's serious. And for your information, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it clearly that la akhafu ala ummati ashirk. He says, just to placate all Muslims, he says that he fears nothing. He doesn't fear shirk to spread among Muslims. He has no fear about that. He has no qualms about it. So as far as the Prophet is concerned, before he departed this world, he had already assured Muslims that they will never fall back into shirk. So who are they to come just about less than 100 years ago to come and say that all Muslims are mushriks? I may be getting into things that may be new to you, but as I've promised you, please go back to my, I will give you my number so that you can have access to my Facebook page, page. So you will see the series of articles I've written. And you can also refer to previous editions of the Standard newspaper, because whatever I write about this thing, I publish them there. My name is Munguru Lamin Yafa. Some of you might have come across those articles. And I am on it, as I've told you, and for you, just to educate people and Gambians about this matter and how serious it is. And for your information, you see, let us not despair and give up. Saudi Arabia, the government, the current government, has now disowned them. It has now disowned their own religious establishment, these Wahhabi people. They have sort of severed relations with them because what they have realized that they are a danger to humanity, to progress. They said it. The current prince, he said it once, that 70 years of backwardness inflicted on Saudi people. By who? You people, you Salafist Wahhabis. So it is time to get rid of you people, to dissociate ourselves from you. And this is what he is doing now. Now in Saudi Arabia, for your information, things they claim that are un-Islamic, and we are banned in Saudi Arabia for the past 50, 60, 70 years, like what we commonly call here Gamo, now is tolerated in Saudi Arabia. Mawlud Nabi, the 12th of Rabiul Awal. Huh? This coming Rabiul Awal, just wait for it. You will see, check in your YouTube, you will see celebrations at the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mosque in Medina, in Mecca, in Medina, and so on. Talking to you, I spent closely, as the president has said, 20 years in that country, not as a student or a hustler, but I was an international civil servant. I was with the Islamic Development Bank and rose to the rank of a manager of the language division. I'm a translator, interpreter by profession. As for Arabic and Islamic studies, I studied it in Morocco at a time when none of these people were born. Way back in 1972, 72 to 79, I was in Morocco learning at the most ancient university in the Muslim world, called Qarawiyyin University of Fez, older than even Azhar University, older than Oxford University, older than Cambridge University. That's the university where Muslims in Cordoba, Ashbilia, in Spain, Muslim Spain in those days, referred to in history as Andalusia. That was their university. And that's the university, the Islam our forefathers and fathers that we are practicing today, based on the Malikiya school of jurisprudence and Sufism, came from those people. You might have heard about spiritual books like Jazuli, Dalailul Khairat. If you are close to our spiritual leaders, every morning it is a spiritual duty for them to read that book, that spiritual book, because it is divided into 7 parts for every week. Every day of the week, there is a catalogue of Salat ala Nabi, prayers on the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that you are required to read for your spiritual purification and upliftment. Jazuli is from Morocco. He studied at that Qarawiyyin University. Qadi Ayad, who wrote the famous book on the history of the Prophet, Ashifa. These are important books in Islamic disciplines and knowledge or studies. These people are the most knowledgeable scholars you can think of in the Muslim world. Islam came to us from those people, from North Africa, the Malikiya. This is what we have been adhering to, observing our fathers, forefathers for over 1,000 years, as stated by the president. So why should we abandon that, jettison it for flimsy knowledge based on flimsy claims? Abandon that type of Islam, peaceful Islam. Have you ever heard of religious intolerance here? Before they came here, have you ever heard of it? Intolerance started when they started rearing their ugly heads. You noticed that during the Yahya Jammeh regime, when people like Abdoulie Fatty dominated the scene, the religious scene in those days, when he became Imam of this the State House Mosque, he started insulting the Ahmadis. While the Ahmadis came here and entrenched themselves here, while he was not yet even, he had not even stepped foot here in the Gambia yet. By the way, he's not a Gambian. He was born in Boraya, here in Casamas. He was not even born here, let alone his parents. I mean, why? So why should he come and sow the seeds of discord among us? Why? What for? Fabajite, the same thing, from Casamas or Guinea-Bissau. Why should they come and cause trouble here? The Ahmadis, we have never accepted their brand of Islam, but we have been living peacefully with them. Gambians, prominent Gambians, became Ahmadis here. The first governor of the Gambia, appointed by the Queen, when Gambia became independent, but what they call self-rule, 65 to 1970. That governor, Safari Mansingate, was an Ahmadi. He hailed from Makati. He died as an Ahmadi, and many other Gambians. We've never had problems with them. So why he, a foreigner for that matter, should declare war on the Ahmadis, incite Gambians to kick them out of the country? But if you kick them out, you are kicking out Gambians. So please, help us to propagate these things. And whenever you need information about them, and if I say I'm talking about academic information, not information based on spurious claims and whatever. No, this is scientific, academic information. Come and see us. Rawdatul Mjaalis will feed you, will give you the right information about Islam and real Islam. But not these people. They have distorted, they distort it. They distort Islam. Intolerant towards everything. Even, and you see something else also, you will read it in my article. They spend their entire time on Muslims. They direct their entire efforts to Muslims. I mean, they try to convert Muslims to their own brand of Islam. But you have many pagans here in our sub-region. Guinea-Bissau is a fertile ground for good missionary work, Islamic propagation work. Casamas, you have many of them there. Even here in the Gambia, for your information, there are even some Mandinkas, let alone Fullers, who have not yet embraced Islam. Do you know that? Go to Wuli, Pasamas, and you get into some Mandinka villages across the border in Senegal, Bantantindi and other villages. You find there are Roman Dinkas who have not yet embraced Islam. They will tell you until Soninke Waleti. The Fullers, if I say Fullers, we in that part of the Gambia, URR, we refer to them as Lorobo. Our those brothers in Basse, like Mansajang and others. And the other Fullers also, the other side in Wuli, Sandu, Nyani, our those Lorobo brothers. It's now, just recently, just about 30, 40 years ago, that some of them, and like I can say now, most of them, embraced Islam. Especially because of the efforts being made by the Madina Gunas spiritual school in Madina Gunas. The founder of Madina Gunas Tijaniya movement there, Sheikh Muhammad Said, is the one who instructed all his talibis to go everywhere. Fullers exist in the sub-region in Senegal and the Gambia to get them converted to Islam. Some of them are still there, they have not yet converted. Why not spend their time on those people? Why should you come to me? I say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. I'm a Muslim. The rest is all rhetoric. Once you say La ilaha illallah Muhammad, you are a Muslim. Now whether you are a practicing Muslim or not practicing, that's now left between you and your Lord. So why? Please, anyway, let me stop here for the time. If there is any other question.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatou from Home FM. Toure. Yeah, from Home Digital FM.
Home Digital FM.
Yeah. Yes, Memekering. What I want to ask is that whether Rawdatul Mjaalis is looking forward to have dialogue with Supreme Islam Council.
Thank you very much. This is a very important question, really. For your information, Rawdatul Mjaalis has written several times to the former Gambia Supreme Islamic Council. We call it former Supreme Islamic Council simply because their time of office has come to an end for over a year now. So they do no longer have a legitimacy to remain in power, so to speak. We have written to them several times, asking, first of all, for an electoral reform, because the system they are using to elect the ruling executive members was based on just a few members, selected members across the country to cast their votes to elect the committee, the executive committee governing the council for 5 years. We say that is not enough. You have more than 1 million Gambians. How come less than 2 people across the country would elect a personnel of 11 people for a period of 5 years without involving much higher, larger number than this? That would be unfair to the Gambian Muslims. Let us talk about it and how to reform the electoral system. But the answer from them was, who are you? Because to them, we are non-existent organization. We are a non-existent organization to them. Why? Because they arrogated to themselves powers which in fact do not belong to them. That any Islamic organization in this country must register with them. Why? We disagree with them about that, simply because they are a non-governmental organization, an independent civil organization in the country, just as the Rawdatul Mjaalis. Rawdatul Mjaalis is a non-governmental organization, NGO, independent, and also registered with Aegis Chambers, just like the Gambia Civil Service Council. Why should we go and register with them? We are not going to do that. So that is why they say that they are not recognizing us. So we call on them for a dialogue, for a negotiation, for a discussion, 3 times at least. The first time was through someone who came from the United States, but he was a Gambian, and found it appropriate that, you know, these 2 big organizations should come together through a dialogue and make or conclude a kind of consensus as to how to run the organization and how to serve Islam in general in the Gambia, and how to really forge a unity, a national unity among Gambian Muslims in general, and the Gambian in particular, and the Gambians in general. They refused to come forward. So the second time was through Ahmed Sillah, the current Minister of Information. Then he was the Director General of GRTS. He called us into his office together with them. We went there, our delegation went there. I led the delegation myself to GRTS headquarters. We waited and waited. For how long? More than an hour. Then Ahmed Sillah received a call from the former president of the Gambia Civil Service Council, Alhaji Muhammad Lamin Toure, that he would not be able to be in attendance because he has, you know, a relative or whatever who passed away, that he was going to attend the funeral. But then we believe that if they were serious, he could have deputized, someone could have deputized for him to attend the meeting. But they didn't do that. Ahmed Sillah tried a second time for them to come. Again, they failed him and failed us. So we have written several times also to the government, you know, asking for this, for the same request, that let there be a dialogue, let there be an electoral reform for the council to be universally accepted by all Gambians. Again, we received no response from the government. When I say the government, through the religious advisor to the president, that is Honorable Dembo Bojang, and also through the Minister of Religious Affairs, under the leadership of Honorable Musa Drame. So we have not received any response from them. So for us, we were bold enough to come forward and ask for a dialogue and negotiation, but there has been no response from either side of them. That's it. So I hope I answer your question.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyani.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na lo mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon nim fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata another enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi man domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.